we're going to get into the high-performance coaching. So I want to just go through, make sure you're clear what this is about. It's the high-performance coaching is based on Brendon Burchard. Some of you know him, some of you don't. You can follow him online. That's his book, High Performing Habits. It's a green book, so obviously you can't, the green screen is taking care of the green, right? So the actual coaching that we did his training. It was a $15,000 US training, got certified a high-performing coach. The great thing is that we have 12 sessions all pre-scripted. There's questions we're going to ask you, and they've been scientifically proven to get certain results based on the habits of highly successful people. Now, as a coaching program, an independent party rated it out of 10, 9.6 over 40,000 sessions, 9.6 out of 10. One of the highest marks or ratings of any coaching program on the planet today. So I just want you to know, and I'm saying this to edify it, right? I'm saying this to pump up anticipation. This is coaching foreplay. That's what it is. And I want you to understand it's part of the edification process. Anything that you share with a client, whatever product and service that you want to have that service foreplay. You want to pump up. These are all pre-hypnotic suggestions. I'm being transparent because you're learning this stuff as well. So you can plan some suggestions and expect the change that they're going to get. People don't get what they focus on, they get what they expect. Focusing on is the start. We'd rather have you focus on what you want as opposed to what you don't want. But then the only reason we don't get what you don't focus, you don't expect it because your beliefs aren't aligned with it. So let's get you focused on what you want, and then let's get you to expect it. And you expect it once we align the beliefs with what you want. Is that making sense? So I'm only pumping this up so you know what you're going to expect. So 197 different countries, over 2 million surveys have rated the habits in this book, the 6 habits that we're going to be coaching you on, right, are the things which are common between the high performers. When we say high performers, not just results in business or career, high performing in a relationship, high performing with their health, high performing with just fulfillment. Don't you want to be a high performer with your health, a high performer with being happy in life? Or do you want to be below performer with happiness? People think of high performance just business. Okay, so you want a low performing happy life? No, you want a high performing happy life. So a high performer does certain rituals, a high performer does certain things every day. So it's the habits, the activity that we do every day that leads us to creating certain virtues and values, as Aristotle said, as opposed to us doing what we do because of our virtues and values. Today we're going to be talking about focal points, and focal points really is just an overview. We're going to snapshot where you are. It's a snapshot of the 10 key areas in your life. Where do you think you are? Rate yourself. Right? That's the focal points, and we're going to talk about where your focus is, where do you feel you got some control, and where's your energy within these areas. And then we're going to look at more specifically, how do you get clarity in your life? How do you get energy? What are the things that you can do from a mind-body activation, certain rituals? You know, so we might do some breath work. We're going to do some release work. So we're going to give you some tools and techniques. Each one of these sessions, we're going to be sharing some tools and techniques with you. Courage. It's a great exercise for courage. Wow. Simple exercise. I'll share that with you now. I think it's great to use it because there's more that we'll share when we get there. You know when you have a problem, anything that you're experiencing, and you're caught up in it? Well, imagine your most courageous self was standing over your right shoulder. And your most courageous self put out the left hand and touch your right shoulder. And as you look at your most courageous self, what would they say to you? How would you deal with this situation? It's a very powerful positive psychology task, connecting with the most courageous self. You know the Bupa health commercial, Bupa, the health insurance company, right? Where the person bumps into their future self at the lights or down the street. I think that's an awesome commercial. Because you bump into your future unhealthy self and you think, oh my God, it gets you thinking. But what if you can bump into your most courageous self? Or think a time, let's use some NLP stuff. Can you recall a time that you were most courageous? A specific time. Where you just knew you had this, you could do what you needed to do, and you felt you had the confidence and the power and the control to deal with things. Can you recall a specific time? Have you ever had a time like that in your past? As you think of that time, I want you to go back into that time, float into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel those feelings. and that power. And as you're standing there, I want you to know that's your courageous self. And what would they say to you today? Powerful exercise, right? Productivity, influence. Oh man, influence is a great task we're going to give you. We're going to ask you to go to dinner with some people and influence them. Just by listening to them. Studying conversation. So all these sessions will have tasks that we're going to share with you so you can wire in the habits. See, in order for you to live a well life, I think if you want to live an optimum, a well life, wellness, if we look at mind, body, wellness, I think wellness starts with awareness, right? So that's what today's about, for us to get aware of where we are so we can start moving. So let's get started. It's a whole life assessment. So if you've yet to do this, because this is going to be a snapshot where we are right now, and we're going to give you maybe 3 reasons why people actually have a big gap. So I want you to look at your health, your mental, emotional aspect. What about your partner and love, right? Family, friends, your mission in life. Do you have a mission? What about your experiences? What type of experiences do you have in life? You know, interesting, these aren't just your run-of-the-mill type of life assessments. These are different aspects that are important to people who live high-performing, happy, fulfilled lives. Spirit, finances, and learning. If you were to rate these areas from 0 to 10, just do that now. Your subjective measure, 10 out of 10, that area is the best in your life. You are achieving what you may perceive to be the ideal situation for yourself in that specific area. 1, it's the worst area, and anywhere in between. So just rate them. Just give yourself a quick rating. And it's not a case where you need to analyze it and give yourself a sophisticated answer. Don't think it, blink it. Usually it's the best thing. I want you to think about your 3 high numbers and your 3 low numbers. I mean, is there a gap? Is there a big difference from, have you got your 3 top areas and your 3 bottom areas? Look at your 3 top areas and look at your 3 bottom areas. I want you to think about why the gap. What has led to you having that gap? It's important for you to become aware of the bottom 3, because it's the low numbers in the bottom 3 which actually cause a problem with the rest of your life. And here's the thing, we end up doing lots of different programs, lots of different courses. Aaron's saying finances, experiences, and mission with all these courses, and we get caught up in what is it that we need to do to actually take care of those bottom areas, and how can we achieve some sort of balance. And we start working at doing and doing and doing and doing and doing to get the result. So we become human doings again. We're moving away from what we need to focus on. It's not what we need to do to get the result. See, achievement's never the problem, guys, because I know you can achieve. You've all achieved something in your life. Would you agree with that? When it's called on, you can do what you need to do to achieve. So you binge achieve. The consistent achiever, it's not about achievement, it's a lifestyle. The consistent achiever is not binging when they have to. The consistent achiever is what Vanessa said earlier. Achievement's never the problem, guys. Because you can meet people who are happy and they've got everything they want in their life. Or they say they're happy. They might look happy on the outside. Like they've got the cars, they've got the houses, they've got the money. Like, could you want anything else? But still they've got a gaping hole on the inside. Like they're waking up dissatisfied, losing touch with, they lost connection with the rim of the future. How's that happened? So achievement's never the problem. Alignment is. Alignment is the key. Now, when I'm in alignment, what I talk about alignment, because when we get caught up with human doings, we get caught up with achieving the extrinsic stuff. And I think we're taught like that at school, guys. We're taught with achieving a goal, getting an achievement, awards, recognition, blue ribbons, right? All this type of stuff. So people get recognized for their achievement. So we get conditioned that it's important for us to strive to get this recognition. And the first recognition that we look for as we grow from young kids is our mother's love or father's love. All of us have had a problem. Mother's love or father's love, which is the one? You might say both. Okay. Which one couldn't you do out? Couldn't you do without? Ultimately, recognition from mother or father is the issue here. So alignment is a key. So we tend to go to do all the work that we need to do to achieve all the things from the outside, right? But we don't do the work that we need to do to actually create alignment on the inside. People can go out there and achieve the 1 million likes on Facebook, they can have the cars, they can earn the money, they can earn the accolades, and yet they've got a gaping hole on the inside. Something's missing. So when I talk about intrinsic and extrinsic empires, what we want to work with, and we've shown you this alignment map before, and I think it's important because as we work towards achieving this feeling, bringing that into our life and being the person that we need to be today, we need to work on these areas. And these are the things that we have to work on the inside. We follow the 5 elements based on Chinese medicine. We learned this at another time. But the 5 intrinsic empires, Robin Sharma calls them the 4 interior empires. I like to call them the 5 intrinsic empires, the stuff that is important to us on the inside, intrinsic values. We need to work with our thinking, our mindset. But I think I just want you to understand that the mindset is just the fluid in a cup. It's the thinking. You're not the thinker of your thoughts. You are not your thoughts, you're the thinker of your thoughts, right? And so we need to develop the mindset, the resilient mindset, to be able to bounce back and maybe look at things from a different perspective, reframe things so we don't find ourselves becoming reactive. So we want to become resourceful as opposed to reactive. So we need to work on the mindset. We also need to work on the heart set. No point having the mindset of a Steve Jobs or Elon Musk if we've got disappointments and angers and sadnesses that we haven't dealt with. Because those angers and sadness and disappointments are going to stop us from actually, or affect us from making us decisions which we're aligned with. Am I making sense? Now, it's fine for you to work with a mindset, get the thinking right. How many people tell you all the right things and have cleared all their emotions, but you know what? Common sense is not always common practice. Why is it not common practice? Because they haven't developed their habits. Brain set is the next. They've got to get the wiring right. We've got to make sure we get the habits wired in. So we got the thinking, we got the emotions and the actions. This is the birth of a new idea, the upward surging phase in your life, and this is your adult mature phase. This is based on Chinese medicine. It's awesome. We combine all this stuff, guys. This is living life intentionally. Now, here's the important thing. You can go to work being intentionally and purposefully and thinking and letting go and working and doing all this stuff, and before you know it, you've let go of your health, haven't you? How many people lose their health to earn money in the first 50 years of life, only to lose the money to regain their health in the next 50 years? So what's important if we don't know, we're going to fall into the void. We need to work on our health set. Now, you can find people who've worked on their mind, dealt with the emotions, got the right habits, and they're healthy. But you know what? Something's missing on the inside. They don't understand their part in this planet or their role as an energetic or spiritual being. Their consciousness hasn't evolved. They haven't worked on their soul set. So we're going to look at these 5 areas in order to be aligned. The only reason why you've got a gap from the high areas and the low areas is because maybe your thinking and your emotions or your habits or your energy, your well-being, or your what's important at a deep core level, at a soul level, you're not getting in that area. Once you work on those areas, that's on the extrinsic empires. What are you going to experience? You'll experience freedom outside. You'll be able to make more money. Here's an interesting concept. The money you're making right now is a reflection of your emotional state. Bum, 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 drop the microphone. The more reactive you are, the more you haven't dealt with these negative emotions which are holding you back, it's affecting your ability to actually add value to people. Do you think you're adding value when you become reactive? Do you think you're adding value when you're blaming people and judging people? Judging kids, judging your partner? Is that judging your clients, judging the industry? So the more you deal with your heart set, the more you become a vibrational being, a different frequency that just attracts people to you, and you've got more value to give. And then when you're doing the right habits, that's when you're going to get more impact. When you have impact, you'll have vitality. You'll be this energetic person. Where do you find the energy people say to keep on doing what you're doing? And ultimately, that's what congruency is. You're moving towards congruency, guys. So what are the 3 reasons? Let me share with you 3 reasons why we're not aligned. 3 reasons why maybe you have 3 top areas and 3 low areas. I'm going to share with you 3 concepts, 3 ideas that may lead to these gaps. What are the things that you think may lead to this gaps, this malalignment, this imbalance in your life? Incongruent saying Dean, yeah? So what leads to incongruency? Right? Beliefs, self-worth, okay. So they're feelings and beliefs, okay, how you're focusing on doing old beliefs. Avoidance, so we're going to look at that one. Energy and focus, I like that. Self-sabotage. We end up in those patterns, absolutely. Values. All those things are important because they lead to certain behavior. What's the behavior? The first thing, right? 3 reasons why you're not aligned. The first one, neglect. So once you think of the 3 areas, which are the low numbers, what are you neglecting in those areas? What have you started to neglect? Because you know when you neglect something, it starts to fall apart, doesn't it? When you stop watering the flower, it'll start to die. What's the opposite of neglect? Attention. Where you focus your attention, things will grow. If you're not focusing your attention on something. And you might think, oh, that's okay, that's fine. But you give someone a cold shoulder for 1 day, 2 days, 27 days, 30 days. What do you think the relationship's going to be in 30 days or 30 months? And you get to the point thinking, shit, how did I get here? Everything was okay. Yeah, it was okay, but it was building over the 27 months, building over 27 years. Or 25 years in my case. Hey, this is part of my healing, right? I've got to share it, I've got to get it out. Neglect and avoidance. So I want you to think about the bottom areas in your life, guys. What have you neglected and what have you avoided? See, if you thought, let's say you got relationships, maybe a relationship with your daughter, with your son, or with your partner, you only gave it a 3. You think, shit, how come we can be a 3? You know, we used to be in love when we first met, or you had a great relationship when your daughter or your son was younger, right? Well, what happened? Where are you neglecting spending time with them? What are you avoiding? Many times the reason why we neglect and avoid is because of old beliefs, things which are triggered. Thoughts about ourselves, our beliefs about ourselves, whether we think we're worthy or not. We stack all these negative, you know, the reason we've let ourselves down so many times that we start to believe that we let everyone else down. Am I making any sense, guys? So once you think about, when you think about those areas, right, those areas, what have you neglected and avoided? Just write down. There's 3 areas. What have you neglected and avoided? Okay? So the first reason is neglect and avoidance. And I want you to understand, you didn't do that consciously, did you? Did you do it on purpose? Did you decide to neglect that area on purpose? Because that's an important area. You did it unconsciously. You've got to become aware of the trigger. You've got to become aware of what was it that happened for you to come up with a old defense mechanism, a pattern that served you in the past that doesn't serve you anymore. Or how do you feel on one level, on an unconscious level, safer? Because you know what? If you develop that relationship with your partner, develop that relationship with your daughter, if you spent that time with that finances, shit, that will be flourishing. And on one level, that's more painful than where you are right now. Think about that. Having that ideal number in that area, consciously or unconsciously say, is more painful than the pain of not having that high number. Because that success in that area means something to you unconsciously. It's neurologically connected to some sort of pain. Classic example, I had a lady I was working with many years back who was diagnosed with cancer. Not that we're treating, diagnosing, and prescribing, we're just working with her thought forms around that, right? And her whole issue was that she wasn't congruent with wanting to be free. She wanted to be free, consciously, but at an unconscious level, when she thought of freedom, the body went in a stress response. And we validated through muscle monitoring and a whole range of other tools. So her body was stressed, was not congruent. It was in conflict, parts conflict, was not congruent with being free. Because you know what she had? She had a trigger. The word freedom meant something for her. When we did some hypnosis and timeline and some other work, it took her back to a time when her parents separated, when she was 6 years of age. And all she can remember is the father saying to the mother, I just want to be free of you. So freedom was associated with what? Pain. Parents separating. Now, a young 6-year-old girl doesn't know what's going on. She just thinks it's her fault. Or he just thinks it's his fault, a young boy. Would you agree? So they grow up thinking that was because of them that the parents separated. So their unconscious mind says, we'll keep you safe and protected. We'll keep you so far away from experiencing freedom that you won't have to actually acknowledge that situation. That was your fault. What can I do to stop you from being free? I know. I'll give you cancer. That way you'll never be free and you'll be safe. Interesting, hey? So think about it. The low number in those areas, the reason why you're neglecting and avoiding is because if you had it balanced, or the ideal scenario, where would you be? That's more painful. What could be the association there for you? The second area, guys, is, you know, the people who have got everything, but they're just dissatisfied. They wake up and they're dissatisfied. Dissatisfaction with life. Dissatisfaction with their results, what they're getting. And they wake up. Now, I want you to think about it. If you're waking up dissatisfied, the moment you go into a conversation with someone dissatisfied, what's going to be the result of the conversation? Could you possibly, what are the odds of you getting a favourable outcome if you're going in that conversation dissatisfied? What are the odds? So you wake up dissatisfied, right? And you want to take your kids to Disneyland. What are the odds they're going to have a good time? You know what at the core of dissatisfaction is? Lack of appreciation. Now you might think, that's right, they don't appreciate me. See, you're making it all about yourself again. And that's your appreciation of your life. You know what's a cuter way of saying dissatisfaction? Perfectionism. Because with perfectionism, you're never satisfied with anything. You can never get it right. You want to be perfect, which means you're not happy with what you got. You got the difference between a happy perfectionist and an unhappy perfectionist. What's the unhappy perfectionist? They're dissatisfied. I can never get it right. Not appreciating everything that they have. Whereas a happy perfectionist realises it's about excellence. I just want to keep on raising the bar, getting better and better and better. Who can I be today? Am I making sense, guys? So when you think about your life, we're going to go through and talk about the habits, things that you need to do. Well, what do you need to do to actually put more time and energy and attention to certain things? What do you need to do to bring more joy and appreciation in some areas in your life? Do you think that'll change your life? Yeah, I know what people say. I know this. You're the perfectionist, right? They want to hit the bullseye all the time. They know it, but their life's pretty crap. And because they know it, guess what? They come across like this. The third reason, superiority complex. I have to find a picture of a woman doing that. Because you're expected to see a man doing that, right? Now, a man does this. Man reckons he knows it all. Right? So the superiority complex, or the know-it-all person, and not from the perspective that they think they're better than you, but the ego takes the position that I know this. And I want you to understand what happens when you take this situation. You stop asking questions of life. And when you stop asking questions of life, you stop learning new things. When you stop learning new things, you stop to grow. And when you stop growing, you stop becoming competent with new things. And in positive psychology, we've got the competent confidence loop. If you're not growing your competence, you're going to decrease your confidence. And you fall into this dissatisfied. Because you think you knew it, you learned it all. I can tell you, I've been there. Anyone else been there somewhere in their life? Where you got to the point where you think, well, you didn't put your, you stopped asking questions and you thought, I don't need to know this, I know, you know more. And not from a case that, you're coming across as on your high horse, just that it stopped you from asking questions, stopped you from inquiring. So once you think about, guys, these three areas, these three reasons, how are they impacting the gap in your areas? So what can you focus on now to, what's the flip side, right? What's the flip side of these things? What's the flip side of the things you want to move away from? So you want to move away from neglect and avoidance, dissatisfied perfectionism and superiority know-it-all. What's the flip side? Because we want to give you strategy, right, to actually, avoid these things. You've got to avoid avoidance. That's like a not. Right? What's the flip side? You need to put more time and energy and attention to the things that you're neglecting and avoiding. You need to bring the joy in your life, be more appreciative, gratitude. When you walk into the green room of life, what energy are you bringing in? You are responsible for the energy that you bring into every area of your life. You're responsible for the energy that you bring into every conversation. You know that, right? The outcome of that conversation is going to be determined by the energy you bring in it. So if the outcome doesn't get to where you want to go, well, what role did you play? If you walked in dissatisfied, did you come in happy? Did you come in joyful? Did you come in playful? Imagine the outcome when you come in playful. Hey. And superiority know-it-all. The secret to life is humility. Robin Sharma says, when you walk in the room, be the most humble person in the room. Because that means you're open to learning new things. So when was the last time that you let go of your humility? When weren't you being humble? When did you stop asking questions? When did you come across as a know-it-all to your kids, to your partner, to your colleagues? And you know how you did that? By judging them. By judging their potential. By giving up on them. People give up on their jobs, give up on their partners, give up on their kids. They give up on life. They've judged the circumstance. That's a know-it-all person. That's a superiority complex. That person stops asking questions. That person starts burnout, saying, Julie, absolutely. All right? That person starts to fall apart. Is that making any sense to you guys? So we need to think about some strategies. What can you do to put more time and energy and focus into certain things? What about bringing the joy and appreciation? Gratitude journal. Be responsible for your energy. Get yourself in state. Get up, do a dance, move, look in the mirror, tell yourself that, that you love yourself, or, I don't know, blow kisses to yourself. Play with yourself. You know what I mean. I saw that look, Ashley. Maya's going, all right, woo-hoo. When's that workshop? Right. But it's self-compassion, guys. It's self-love. That's what we're talking about. The first thing we need to look after ourselves. And then humility. Be humble to learn more. Be humble to come across and, regardless of how much you've done and how much you know, there's always going to be someone that knows more. There's always going to be someone that's stronger than you. There's always going to be someone that's faster than you. And that's okay, because it's not a competition. But if you want to come across as always competing, that's extrinsic stuff, as opposed to just going through the process to raise the bar for yourself every day. So we're now going to move into the session here, focal points. Where's your focus? Where's your energy? When I say energy, it's your agency. It's like Where do you feel you have control in your life or you don't have control in your life? And what are the habits that you actually have working for you now that are good for you, or what habits actually aren't working for you? So awareness is the key. The first starting point is awareness in different areas in life.